Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're venturing into the fascinating world of Taiwan's unique bird life. Really unique.
It is. We've got this document here, CD10, AMTDF.
Right, and it lists 52 endemic subspecies of birds. Just think about that for a second.
52.
Ah,
Yeah, distinct variations found only there in that specific form, nowhere else on Earth.
exactly. So our mission today, it's more than just listing names. We want to kind of unpack the stories behind these birds.
You mean like their sounds, how they look, where they choose to live?
Precisely. We want to give you, the listener, a quick but, rich understanding of this special piece of Taiwan's natural heritage.
Without getting totally lost in a list of 52 names, which could be, well, a bit much.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll be looking at the incredible variety in their calls, the subtle visual things that set them apart.
And how they've managed to find their own little niches across Taiwan's landscapes, from farms to high mountains.
Okay, so let's dig in. Where do we start with 52 subspecies?
Well, the number itself, 52,
Yeah.
it tells you something right away about Taiwan. Its isolation, its diverse habitats. It's like a perfect evolutionary lab.
So these unique pressures have shaped them. How does that show up first? Maybe? Sounds?
Sounds are a great place to start. The variety is just, astounding. You mentioned the crested myna.
Yeah, the document says it's a strong mimic with variable chattering calls, like a little sound machine.
Right. And mimicry, it can be super useful for a bird.
How so? What's the advantage?
Well, it could be about attracting a mate, showing off how clever you are with sounds. Or maybe confusing predators,
Oh, interesting. Like imitating something dangerous.
potentially.
Yeah.
Or even tricking other birds. The source doesn't spell out the exact reason for the myna, but the fact it's noted suggests it's important.
And then there's the black drongo, also a mimic, apparently.
Yes, also noted for diverse sounds, including mimicry. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Similar strategies, maybe similar environmental challenges?
Yeah, it does. Convergent evolution, maybe? Different species finding similar solutions. Okay, let's switch sounds completely. The white-backed woodpecker.
Ah, yes, no mimicry mentioned there. Instead, it's got that clear, powerful tapping.
And a sharp kick call, the document says. What does that tell us about its life in the forest?
Well, think about it. Dense forest, hard to see far. Loud tapping cuts through that noise.
For territory, finding mates.
Probably both. Territorial defense, definitely. Mate attraction, it travels well. And that sharp kick. Likely shorter range stuff, alarm calls, maybe keeping in touch, very direct communication.
Makes sense. Using the forest acoustics. Okay, up in the sky, the crested serpent eagle. High-pitched whistling, clee-clee-clee in flight.
Yeah, soaring high up. That piercing sound would carry a long way.
So what's the message there? This is my patch.
Could be territorial, yeah. Signaling to other eagles. Or maybe keeping track of a mate or young ones spread out over a large hunting area.
Yeah.
Very different from the woodpecker's localized calls.
It really starts to paint a picture, doesn't it? How sound shapes their world. What about smaller birds? Little forktail. Delicate sip-sip near streams.
Right, near rushing water. A big complex song might just get lost in the noise.
So a simple sip-sip works better for close range.
Exactly. Maybe just for talking to each other while foraging along the stream banks, in the bushes there. Subtle sound, intimate environment.
It's amazing how the environment seems to shape the very sound they make. Then you've got the oriental skylark open grasslands, continuous high-pitched song in flight.
It makes perfect sense, right?
Yeah.
Wide open space, nowhere to hide visually.
So sing loud and long while you're flying?
Yeah, attracts mates from far away, claims that aerial territory. Constant advertisement, basically.
And the opposite, maybe. Brownish-flanked bush warbler, mid to high-altitude shrubs, simple tick-tick.
Uh-huh, dense shrubs. A long song might not carry well anyway and could attract predators, so a short, sharp tick-tick.
Good for close contact? Or just saying, I'm here?
Probably both. Contact call, subtle territory marker within those dense bushes. Very efficient.
Okay, so we're seeing this link. The call complexity, environment. The document lists so many more. Rufous cap babblers clear choo-choo.
Or the light-vented bulbul's lively down low.
Yeah, that g-g sound,
Yeah.
very varied. And the colored finchbill's loud, repetitive zee-zee-doo-doo.
It's a whole soundscape. Even the feel can seem different. Think about the maroon orioles. Ooh.
Low, mournful, it says, compared to the slaty-breasted rail's harsh crack-crack in the wetlands.
Right, different vibes. Maybe reflecting different social lives or threats. Then you have the slaty-legged crake, also in wet areas, but a sharp key.
And way up high, the alpine accenter soft, multisyllabic song on the rocky tops. Contrast that with the Himalayan owl's deep hoo-hoo-hoo in the forest at night.
And another raptor, the Besver sharp key, often in flight like the eagle, but different sound.
Don't forget the jays. Eurasian jay, rough cree, but also mimics other birds.
Yeah, another mimic. Contrast that with the spotted nutcracker and the high-fur forest horse cracra and long, mournful calls. No mimicry mentioned there.
Interesting. And the little guys? Fire-breasted flower pecker, short sip, sip, sip while feeding. Makes sense. Busy eating.
While the black bulbul has clear, loud calls and mimics. Another versatile one.
Then there's the Taiwan green pigeon, low woo, like the wind. That sounds poetic.
Doesn't it, compared to the vinous-throated parrotbill, soft, constant chi-chi in groups in the bamboo.
And the Eurasian nuthatch, clear yank as it climbs down trees.
Head first. Unique behavior, unique call maybe. And the eastern grass owl's sharp shriek at night over fields.
Yellow-bellied bush warbler, fast zit-zit. Striated prinia, repetitive tit-tit-tit-tit. Barred buttonquail, the female's steady cuckoo. So many distinct sounds.
Brown-eared bulbul, harsh, monotonous wee. Golden parrotbill, short tsit-tsit in flocks. Snowy-browed flycatcher, clear, short chi-chi-chi.
Mountain scops owls, steady poo-poo-poo. Black-naped monarch, clear choo-choo-woo during breeding. Chestnut munia, soft chip in low flocks. Coal tit, quick tsitsy.
Plumbeous water redstart, melodious whistles near water. Gray-faced woodpecker, sharp clee-clee, and drumming, another woodpecker sound. Plain flower pecker, very high zip.
Collared scops owl, gentle whoop-whoop, different from the mountain scops owl's poo-poo-poo. And the crested goshawk, sharp peeky-key, often in flight.
Plain prinia, continuous pit-pit-pit. Brown bullfinch, low poo-pee with whistles. Gray treepee, diverse mimicry again. And chock-chock, or metallic sounds.
Dusky fulvetta, soft, continuous chi-chi. Ring-necked pheasant, loud male, cock-cock. Collared owlet, steady poo-poo-poo, but it's active during the day.
Right, unusual for an owlet. And the elegant scops owl on Orchid Island, soft whoo. Finally, the Eurasian wren, high-pitched, complex song way up in the mountains.
Whew, okay, that's an incredible acoustic range, but sound isn't everything. How they look is just as important for telling them apart, right? Especially with lookalikes.
Absolutely vital. In a place with so many species, clear visual signals are key for finding the right mate, avoiding hybridization. It keeps those subspecies distinct.
So back to the crested myna. The document flags that prominent crest and the yellow eye patches.
Exactly. Those aren't just random bits of flair. They're signals. Helps them recognize their own kind, maybe for courtship or sorting out territory. Sets them apart from, say, the black-collared starling.
Right, and the white-backed woodpecker, that big white patch on its back.
Yeah, much more white than the great spotted woodpecker, which is more, well, spotted. It's a clear visual identifier.
Could it be camouflage, too? Or just recognition?
Could be either or both. Maybe it blends better with certain tree bark in Taiwan. Or maybe it's just a really obvious I'm a white-backed woodpecker signal to others of its kind.
Okay, drongos again. Black drongo versus the black-naped monarch. Tail fork depth.
That's the key difference mentioned. The black drongo's tail fork is deeper.
Does that affect how it flies?
It can, yeah. Might give it more agility, better maneuvering, especially in the open farmland habitats it likes. Different needs, different shape.
Even birds that share a feature, like a crest. Crested serpent eagle versus crested goshawk.
Right, both have crests, but the document notes the eagle is bigger and its crest is more prominent.
So size matters for telling them apart, and maybe crest size does too.
Definitely. Size often relates to prey size. Bigger eagle, bigger prey. The more prominent crest might also be more important for its visual displays. Subtleties matter.
And the other drongo, the bronze drongo.
Smaller than the black drongo, and its tail fork is shallower. Little details setting it apart.
Little forktail versus white-tailed robin. Both near streams sometimes.
Little forktail is smaller, and the tail fork is more pronounced. The robin is larger, with more obvious white on the tail. Different visual profiles.
Oriental skylark versus great skylark.
Oriental is smaller, shorter crest. Again, subtle size and shape cues.
Brownish-flanked bush warbler versus yellow-bellied bush warbler.
Size and color. Brownish flanked is smaller, paler. Yellow-bellied is brighter underneath.
Rufous-capped babbler. That bright head distinguishes it from the white-eared cibia, it says.
Yeah, that cap color is a key field mark. And the white-headed bulbul, that distinct black and white head pattern, very different from, say, an all-black red-billed starling.
And different again from the collared finchbill, which has an all-black face but that white neck collar. Really specific markings.
Totally. Maroon oriole, deep red, larger size, sets it apart from the black-naped monarch's paler blue. Slaty-breasted rail versus common moorhen.
Ah, the rail lacks that frontal shield, that hard plate on the forehead the moorhen has.
Good distinction. And slaty-legged crake is smaller than the rail, different leg color. Alpine accenter, more intense colors than the common accenter. Himalayan owl bigger, no ear tufts, unlike the collared Scops owl.
Bezra versus northern goshawk. Bezra is smaller, shorter tail. Eurasian jay versus spotted nutcracker.
The jay has that brilliant blue wing patch. The nutcracker doesn't.
Oriental turtle dove, deeper colors than the spotted dove. Greenback titwell, the clue's in the name. Greenback, unlike the coal tit's grayback.
Fire-breasted flowerpecker males have that red breast, unlike the plain flowerpecker. Black bulbul, totally black, unlike the patterned white-headed bulbul.
Taiwan green pigeon males have a red head, unique among the green pigeons there. Vinous-throated parrotbill, smaller, different throat color than the golden parrotbill.
Eurasian nuthatch, that unique climbing style is a giveaway, but visually distinct too. Eastern grass owl, longer legs than the barn owl.
Striated prinia stripes on the back, which the plain prinia lacks. Barred button quail, finer beak than a true quail. Brown-eared bulbul, that brown ear patch is key, unlike the white-headed.
Golden parrotbill, bright gold color, very different from the vinous-throated. Snowy-browed flycatcher smaller, that distinct white eyebrow stripe, unlike the blue and white flycatcher.
Mountain Scops owl, yellow beak, not like the collared Scops owl. Golden-headed cisticola, brighter colors than the plain prinia. Chestnut munia, black head, unlike the scaly-breasted munia.
Coal tit, no greenback, unlike the greenback tit. Plumbeous water, red-starred smaller, red tail, different from the white-tailed robin. Gray-faced woodpecker, paler, gray face, easy to spot.
Plain flowerpecker, no red marks like the fire-breasted. Collared Scops owl, smaller, less obvious marks than the Himalayan owl. Crested goshawk, bigger, more prominent crest than the bezra.
Plain prenia, plain lacks the stripes of the striated. Brown bullfinch, no red like the red bullfinch. Gray treepie lacks the white wings of the common magpie.
Dusky fulvetta, plain and small compared to something like a white-throated laughing thrush. Ring-necked pheasant, unmistakable really, compared to an Indian peafowl.
Collared owlet, no ear tufts, unlike the Scops owls. Elegant Scops owl, unique to Orchid Island, that's a big clue. Eurasian wren, tiny cocktail, complex song, very distinct from other small warblers.
It's like you need a field guide just for the subtle differences, but where they live, their habitat, that's another massive piece of the puzzle, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely fundamental. Habitat defines so much of a bird's life, what it eats, where it nests, the challenges it faces. These endemic subspecies are often tightly linked to specific Taiwanese environments.
We saw the crested myna is super adaptable, farmland, cities, parks, a real generalist.
Right, which probably explains its success, especially around humans. Contrast that sharply with, say, the little forktail.
Only near mountain streams and rocky areas, a specialist.
Totally. Its whole life revolves around that specific microhabitat.
Yeah.
Makes it potentially more vulnerable if those streams change.
And the white-backed woodpecker, mid to high-altitude broadleaf or mixed forests, pretty specific.
Suggests it relies on the types of trees, maybe the insects, found in those particular forests at those elevations. It's carved out that niche.
So black drongo likes open farmland and grassland,
Perfect for its insect hunting strategy, probably catching them in flight.
whereas the small cuckoo dove prefers denser forests. Completely different preference.
Exactly. Different food sources, different nesting needs, different ways of avoiding predators.
Crested serpent eagle low to mid-altitude forests. Oriental skylark open grasslands and farmland again.
Right, matching its aerial song display. But the brownish-flanked bush warbler needs those mid to high-altitude shrubs and grasslands. Different elevation, different vegetation.
White-tailed robin, mid to high-altitude forests, often near streams. Light-vented bulbul, widespread in low areas.
A very common sight. Adaptable like the myna, but maybe less urban. Collared finchbill, low to mid-altitude shrubs, tea plantations, woodlands. Likes edges.
Maroon oriole, mid to high broadleaf forests. Slaty-breasted rail wetlands are its thing. Slaty-legged crake, dense undergrowth forest edges, low to mid-altitude.
And then way up high, the alpine center on those rocky mountaintops. Extreme habitat specialist.
Himalayan owl, mid to high mixed forests. Bezra, low to mid forests and edges. Eurasian jay, low to mid broadleaf forests.
Spotted nutcracker, high-altitude coniferous forests, especially fir forests. Very specific preference there.
Fire-breasted flowerpecker forests, orchards, anywhere with flowers and trees, basically following the food.
Makes sense. Black bulbul, low to mid broadleaf forests, orchards. Taiwan green pigeon, low to mid forests, orchards too. Seems orchards are good spots for several species.
Minus throated parrotbill shrubs, bamboo, even suburban secondary forests, Eurasian nuthatch mid to high mixed forests.
Eastern grass owl needs grasslands, farmland, wetlands. Nocturnal hunter of open spaces, yellow-bellied bush warbler mid to high grasslands and low shrubs.
Striated prinia grasslands, shrubs, field edges, barred buttonquail grasslands, low shrubs, farmland, lots of open country birds.
But then the brown-eared bulbul is in low to mid forests and urban parks, another adaptable one. Golden parrotbill, high-altitude bamboo and shrubbery, specialized again.
Snowy-browed flycatcher needs that shady, damp undergrowth in mid to high forests. Very specific microhabitat.
Mountain scops owl, mid to high broadleaf forests, golden-headed cisticola grasslands, wetlands, field edges, black-naped monarch, low to mid woodlands, forest edges.
Chestnut munia, open areas like farmland, wetlands, reeds, coal-tit, high-altitude coniferous forests, like the nutcracker.
Plumbeous water redstart needs streams and waterfalls with rocks. Water specialist, gray-faced woodpecker, mid to high broadleaf forests.
Plain flowerpecker, woodlands, gardens, follows nectar sources. Collared scops owl, low to mid woodlands, rural areas, nocturnal.
Crested goshawk, low to mid woodlands, but also urban green spaces. Adapting to cities, plain prinia farmland, grasslands, shrubs, another open area bird.
Brown bullfinch, high-altitude coniferous forests. Gray treepie, low to mid woodlands and suburban areas. Dusky fulvetta, mid to high shrubs and undergrowth.
Ring-necked pheasant grasslands, farmland, low forests. Collared owlet mid to high forest, but diurnal, remember. Elegant scops owl only on Orchid Island, low primary forest, nocturnal.
And finally, the Eurasian wren, high mountain forests, rocky stream valleys, another high-altitude specialist.
It's this incredible mosaic, isn't it? Each bird fitted into a particular part of Taiwan's environment.
Okay, wow, that's a lot to take in, but it really highlights the diversity. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the big picture here, the main takeaway from these 52 unique birds?
I think the fundamental point is just how special Taiwan is as an evolutionary hotspot. These 52 subspecies, they aren't just names on a list. They're living proof of evolution working its magic in isolation across a really diverse landscape.
Yeah, their sounds, their looks, where they live, it all tells a story of adaptation found nowhere else quite like this.
Exactly. Each one is a unique solution to the challenges and opportunities of life on Taiwan.
And hopefully we've given you a feel for this richness without just reading a list. We've looked at how they talk, how they stand out visually, and the amazing variety of homes they've made.
Which does bring up a crucial thought, doesn't it? Given how specialized many of them are, how tied to specific habitats, what does the future hold, especially with environmental changes?
That's the big question for conservation, for sure. And maybe a question for you, the listener. Thinking back on all those calls we mentioned, from the Mina's mimicry to the owl's hoot, which sound are you most curious about?
Which one would you most want to hear for yourself out there in Taiwan?
Yeah. If any of these birds sparked your interest, definitely look them up further. Listen to recordings, check their conservation status. This has just been a glimpse, really. It's just the beginning of appreciating Taiwan's incredible endemic bird life.
Absolutely. Thanks for diving in with us today.